This is Balance of Power on Bloomberg Television and Bloomberg Radio. I'm Bonnie Quinn.
And I'm Kevin Cirilli. Joining us now from Capitol Hill is Senator Chuck Grassley, Republican of Iowa and chairman of the Finance Committee. Chairman, thank you very much for being here.
Glad to be with you. Thank you for having me.
And we'll jump right into it. I mean, we were talking earlier about the USMCA and its likely ratification. I mean, how much of a win is this for farmers in your state?
Very good, and I probably will be duplicating some of the things that my friend Governor Vilsack told you, but very good for dairy products into Canada, very good for our quality wheat into Canada. We've been blocked out of that for the last quarter of a century or 3 decades, so that's a big move. The other thing is what it does for employment in rural America. We have a lot of component part manufacturers for automobiles in Iowa, and a lot of those may have farmers that also work in town. I know there's a lot of that goes on in my state of Iowa. Those workers will be enhanced as a result of this treaty as well.
Mr. Chairman, on one hand, you've got USMCA. On the other hand, you have the U.S.-China Phase 1 deal. Suggestions that there's going to be massive more agricultural purchases made. How's that going to impact you? And are you skeptical at all about how the Phase 1 is going to be enforced?
Okay. Well, first of all, last Friday was a very big day for the President of the United States. That is the first president in a long time making trade, unfair trade, the issue that he ought to make it. And I think he had 2 big accomplishments last week. You know, we talk about intellectual property, trade secrets, not manipulating their currency, transfer of technology to China. Those things are going to be a little harder to measure. But to answer your question, when China says they're going to buy to $40 to $50 billion of agricultural products, that's going to be easy to measure. So we're going to know pretty soon whether or not they're taking that secret, if taking that to heart. So let's go. Another agreement that was made, announced Friday, is that there's going to be a state-to-state intervention by the American business in China, including our agriculture products, if we aren't treated fairly, that there's going to be a consultative process that doesn't exist today, where U.S. businesses and farm groups can complain to the USTR here in Washington, D.C., can intervene for them with the government of China.
Senator Grassley, how close is Mitch McConnell to setting the rules for impeachment and how it progresses in the Senate?
Okay, obviously I can't answer for sure, but I can say you what the process is going to be, and how far down this process. I don't think we're very far yet, but there's going to be a great deal of consultation between McConnell and Schumer to see if what happened in the Clinton administration can be repeated for this impeachment. And that was a vote of 100 to 0. In other words, complete bipartisanship on how you ought to proceed. Those talks will have to go on between McConnell and Schumer. And then if those are not fruitful, assuming Republicans have a majority, and we have 53, but we got to have 51 votes to accomplish this, we may have to go ahead on our own. But that's not the way McConnell wants to do it. McConnell wants it to be very smooth as it was back in the Clinton impeachment.
And briefly, Senator, when does USMCA get signed, given that this is about to start?
I would guess from my talks with McConnell that it'll be up immediately after the impeachment is over. In other words, the president's guilty or not guilty, and there's a feeling that they haven't made a very good case yet, so he may not be guilty. It could still take a long time to make that determination, but when that's over, we will take it up, and there's a limit of 20 hours of debate, and it can pass with 51 votes, so we don't have to worry about getting a supermajority. We don't have to worry about cutting off a filibuster.
Senator, thank you for joining us today. That is Republican Senator from Iowa, Chuck Grassley.